just drove 14 hours, 1,000 miles, all the way from Grand Rapids, Michigan to Hot Springs, Arkansas, to work on a Sprinter, and I'm not able to fix it here. So we're down here in the beautiful Ozarks of Arkansas, and we're gonna unleash the beast out of this Sprinter here. So this guy got a hold of me a couple of weeks ago about this Sprinter. He said he bought this thing in Georgia, drove it freaking about 4,000 miles, paid $40,000 for this thing. It's a 2018 with 109,000 miles on it. 3.0 CRD diesel. Once he parked it here in Arkansas, it hasn't ran correctly since. He's about 25 hours away from this van. He's from Mexico City. He's never lived in the United States. And unfortunately, the last time when he bought this thing, it was 2 months he was here in the United States, missing work and everything else to try to get this going. The van's not running well. It runs, but it's what I'm gonna describe as ultimate limp mode. Barely any power, hardly won't go anywhere. Worst off, it's been tuned and deleted. Now, looking inside the ECM, there's no codes on the dash. It doesn't even spool up turbo when you first start it and then lose power. It's insane, and it barely goes. I mean, not even, it's worse than limp mode. It's like super limp mode. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna reflash this ECM and try to get her going, see what happens. Soon I'm gonna realize somebody bricked this ECM, meaning that normally you can tune the ECM through the ALDL, but I can't even access the ECM through the ALDL without going through OBD2 generic, which creates problems for reading codes. Then I gotta go do another one over in Indiana for 2 more people on my way back. One of the nice things is my wife has put my pointer on here so I can freaking see it.
One day later.
Okay, so I'm getting a little bit further with this Sprinter, and I'm starting to think that there's actually 2 problems. Problem number 1 that caused this problem is the turbo actuator is not functioning. Now, if you know anything about Sprinters or you watch my show, you know that you can unplug the mass airflow sensor and that will completely cut off the turbo to the engine. The good thing about that is you can run the engine and you're running all off a motor. It's very drivable. It's a lot better than limp mode because it allows you to take the engine RPMs over 2,500 RPMs. And in this situation, it would almost go up to 4,000 RPMs when it's in park. Now, here's what I think happened. Normally, if I take and I unplug the mass airflow sensor, it's gonna pull the actuator arm all the way up, which closes the circuit of the turbo per se. Basically, it closes the vanes, doesn't allow any turbo air to go through there, and it's just sending it out. But this Sprinter's turbo is always open. So this circuit is constantly allowing turbo gases to go back through the engine intake, so forth and so on, which is causing this to not have any power, no back pressure, and just basically won't go. I've never actually seen this problem before, but it's cool that I was able to show you. So what I mean by that is if you breathe, you can either breathe really fast or really slow, but in this situation, you're always sucking in air. You're never exhaling it. Like it's supposed to, when it's running, it should inhale and exhale so it turns on and off, so the arm goes up and down, allowing turbo back pressure to be created when the arm is in the middle range, releasing all the turbo back pressure when it's in the low range, and taking in no turbo pressure when it's in the up range. Now, if we notice, this arm is all the way down. This is the way that your engine would be when the key is on and you're at full throttle. It would open this all the way up. It's not opening that all the way up because it's staying open, so it's not building any back pressure in the intakes to give it any power. This van is really, really slow. So if you're looking at this, and if I understand this correctly, and I could be wrong, I've been wrong many times in the past, this is broken. And the ECM also says it's broken. Originally, the ECM wouldn't tell me that. It said over boost pressure, under boost pressure, pressure sporadic, different things when I originally scanned it. And it did show that in the codes, but then I went into live data and I didn't see anything acting weird with the exception of no boost pressure. The other issue that I'm dealing with is I presume that the ECM is bricked, and what I mean by that is that I can't communicate with the live data from this ECM through the DLC correctly. And whenever I go into here, it won't self-find. If you know anything about what I'm talking about, this thing says it's a 2006, which I always hypothesized you could possibly do. You could take the ignition column, the ECM, the ignition key, and basically switch it all over and make your 2018 Sprinter a 2006 Sprinter. Now, that's not necessary if you know how to program and delete everything through there, but I wanted to turn this back to factory. And because it's bricked, I can't do that here, but I can do it in Michigan. So that's problem number 2, and why is that a problem? Another issue here is in the computer it says stored. It should say stored and current. So this definitely indicates one of a cheaper tune, probably something that's been bootlegged. No Quarto though. Well, let's say I wanted to, which was my expectation, was to come down here, use my J tool to speak to the ECM, to rewrite the program, and make everything flow properly. Unfortunately, it's already been reprogrammed, which I didn't know, and the customer didn't know either, because he just bought this thing and they didn't tell him anything about it. It just ran fine and they went down the road. He says he bought it from a dealer in Georgia. Now, I was a used car dealer in the past, and this is something that I probably definitely would have done. And no, I would not have told the customer, because I would have been selling them a great product. Something on this van and something on this tune is going to make it to where nobody else can work on it unless they have a high skill level dealing with deletes, tunes, and everything else. So my fear was that he gets to Mexico and there won't be anybody who can work on it. So it needs to go back to factory. Or at the very least, not have a cheap ass tune in it that somebody rewrote when it passed through 1,500 other people's hands. I cannot do that. So I cannot bypass a defective component in there, but I also can't reflash the ECM with the tools that I have. The only way that I could do anything on this ECM is to put it on the bench and do the tune that way. And I couldn't even pay somebody $200 to come down here and pull this ECM out so I would have it before I even got here. And when I got here, the ECM would have been great. So I knew before I came down here that there was possibly an ECM problem. And since I know this well enough, I knew that it's better to do things on the bench because I'm directly connecting to the ECM. Whereas sometimes when you go through the ALDL, you can't do that. I would have preferred to have the ECM in my hand on my bench to program it. It's much simpler because people do these things. They will lock the ECMs out once they put a program in it. So if I would have had it, and I could have paid somebody, which I called 3 or 4 different places, and everybody acted like it was the hardest thing in the world to pull an ECM out of a Sprinter that wasn't going to move, like it was some kind of big deal. Needless to say, would have saved me about 4 or 5 days. it would have been tuned, everything would have been fine, and the only thing that the only challenge I would have had to overcome was fixing that actuator. However, if I don't repair this, nobody else is going to be able to do it in the future, and this gentleman's going to take this down to Mexico. We're going to go ahead and take out the ECM, overnight the ECM to my shop in Michigan, where my other guy is going to do the bench programming to it, and when he sends it back, I'm going to have him send me back a couple of the actuators I have on my shelf. Now, something else that I've learned since doing this, that from Mercedes, you cannot buy the actuator without buying the whole turbo, and you know how much that costs, about $2,900, and with the core, you're looking at about $3,300. So, I'm just going to get one shipped down here from my shop. I'll have No Touch Timmy grab it off the shelf and send it down here, and hopefully the next scene in this video is this van running and driving normal. But we're going to be here for a couple days. It doesn't make sense, this 14-hour trip one way to my shop in Michigan, and I think I can next day this stuff quicker, I hope. So it won't come back till at least Monday, maybe Tuesday. I'm not 100% decided on not driving back to Michigan just to do it myself and get it done. However, I don't know. What would you do if you were in my shoes? Now, if you paid attention to this video, there's a lot of fruit to pick from the trees of what I'm actually doing. It requires a little bit of foresight in your mind. If you have a question for me and it's not baby mama drama related, of my own, reach out to me on the Facebook Messenger under Clay's AC and Auto Repair. I answer them for absolutely free. This is how we become an addition to society and not a subtraction. Even though it's free, if you need to buy something, I'll help you first. You might as well help somebody who helped you. But questions, hey, I'll take all day if necessary to try to help you. It just depends on what kind of mood I'm in that day. But I do try to help everybody I possibly can. I always try to give responses. I help you, you help me, everybody's gravy. Don't be the next to them, be the absolute first of you. And if anyone else can do it, you can do it too. God bless, folks. Have the best of days.